Welcome to my channel. I am happy that you're here for this Noble Energy Map reading, which is a synthesis of the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, the chakra system, astrology, the I Ching, and developmental critical times in baby's development. The reading will take you through the periods of early development and synthesize for you the way the energy flow developed over time. And it shows how you're designed over the mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical worlds, and gives you a broad perspective of how you navigate those worlds in your life, how you make decisions, how you think about things, how you pick up energy from other people, where you're sensitive and where you're empowered. Spend this time with me and learn from the reading I'm doing for the person I'm reading for. And then come back, sign up yourself for a free reading, and join me to empower your life. What do you know about the system that I'm using?
I have no idea about the system that you're using.
Okay, so I will show you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And do you have some questions you would like me to focus on?
Uh, Not as of yet. This came by recommendation from my girlfriend. She thought it would be valuable to me and helpful. So I thought I'd give it a shot.
Okay. I will share the screen, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
No problem.
Okay. Okay, so this is the mandala that I'm using.
Okay.
It's a graphic that shows that at the center, there's a connection, and this is a synthesis of the tree of life, a Kabbalistic tree of life. And
Hmm.
you can see it's not exact, but I follow the tree of life and the paths of intelligence in the tree of life when I'm doing a reading.
Okay.
And graphic is also integrating chakras, astrology. And so I take your astrology chart, and there are correspondences with each astrological degree and the hexagrams and lines of the I Ching. So on the outside of the wheel, you see the hexagrams of the I Ching. I use a number of charts calculated over the first 3 months of your life, not just one astrology chart. And I do that because I started the calculation 3 months before you were born, when the sun would have been in the 24th hexagram. By the time you were born, the sun had progressed around the wheel to 33. And then by the time you were 3 months old, it had gone around to 28. So I'm showing you this because the sun made a transit halfway around the wheel while you were in utero and then the first 3 months of your life. The earth went around the other side. So by the time a baby is 3 months old, all of the astrological elements have been programmed into their aura. And what I used was the first chart you see would be a basic human design chart in which you would have been told. Now, I use Chiron, they don't use Chiron. But I use Chiron because it's consciousness. And we're in the age of Aquarius. We all had Chiron impacting us. So whether your chart uses Chiron or not, you would be defined as a manifesting generator. In other words, someone who can make things happen in the real world if you want to. The channel that you have says, don't act precipitously, wait, take your time. On the lunar level, so what I'm looking at here is the mental world, the spiritual world, the emotional world, and the physical world. And then postnatally, the physical world, the emotional world, the spiritual world, and the mental world. And I'm looking at them because when I was given the information and asked to validate it scientifically, I was given what was called the dream design, the lunar calculation. And we were told by Ra Uru, who was given the design information, that the lunar design is what happens when we sleep and dream. And that mammals have a lunar design. Well, at the time I was given the information, I had 13 cats, 7 of whom were homegrown. We had litters, and
Right.
we had their time exact to the second. So I was able to calculate the sleep design of a mammal using the lunar minute and the solar minute for the emotional matrix. And these charts track exact to developmental critical periods in early human development. I am trained, my PhD is from University of Chicago, from the Committee on Human Development, which was actually the 4 worlds: sociology, anthropology, psychology, and biology. And then I did a postdoc clinically and am a Jungian analyst, trained as a Jungian analyst, psychic, and I am a researcher and a clinician. I was in private practice as a psychologist for 50 years. So when I looked at the expanded charts, I knew exactly what they were. And I began working with them and have validated the system on 45,000 cases. So it holds. These times show a week before birth when spirit comes in, and a week after birth when it's anchored. 3 months is when a baby has volition and makes choices. So I'm looking at all of that and I'm putting it together as a synthesis for you. And I can see, Jeff, you're extremely sensitive. You
Yes.
pick up from people what they feel, what they know. You can channel and know things about people. You're intuitive. Your intuition isn't always in the moment. Sometimes you have to talk to someone or be with someone to know what they're feeling and what's right for them. You do know what's right for you. And you have this lunar channel, spiritual, 214, and it is your north node is in the 14. 8 is the south node. Prenatally, it's the 3420. So you're driven to be creative and to be a help agent, but you need to know that what you're doing is honoring you. If it's not honoring you and what you know is right for you, you should not take action. When I see someone who has the 214, keys of the kingdom, direction of the self, you always, no matter what, need to be asking yourself, is this the right direction for me? Am I in the right space? Am I going in a way that honors my values? And do I have the energy? Because you're so sensitive, growing up, you may not have always known what was right for you. And you may
Correct.
have done things or been involved with people who you were taking care of at the expense of yourself.
Correct.
Um, Hopefully now I combine my charts, and this is your composite. This is who you are. This is how you function. You are an extremely strong manifesting generator, a lot of depth, and you can tell the 58, the 18 here in both sides is where am I not seeing 18? Oh, it's Pluto in Libra. That's telling me that the transit we just entered of Pluto in Aquarius is going to be very significant for you. So you are likely to be feeling a shift and a change.
I would agree.
Um, I'm looking at where else you have Aquarius. 60 with your moon prenatally, 19th hexagram with your earth, 41st with earth. Um, well, I've done your astrology, so we'll get to that. I want to show you this paper I did on Pluto. And your Pluto was in Libra. Wait a minute. 5. Yep. So you were born 75, so it's sort of midway in the transit of the Libra Pluto. So until 83, it's likely that things were sort of even. But from 83 to 95, when I send you your chart and the recording link, I'll send you this paper I wrote on Pluto. And
Okay.
I'd recommend that you go through these periods of time when Pluto was transiting your chart and you look at the theme that it may have brought to your life. Now that it's moved into Aquarius, it's going to be a whole different energy. But the reason it's so important is that this gate, the 18 in your chart, I know that channel well. because the 18 is in all of my charts. And it's a channel connected with the 48 for you and the 57 for you, which is the 57 comes in postnatally, and it comes in Mercury in Libra. Quick. You get a very quick intuitive hit when you're with someone. And what you know, you know, you know. When you know what you know, Jeff, don't let anybody tell you you don't know it. That has been detrimental to you in your life when you second guess what you know because of input from outside. This 18th hexagram that connects up your splenic center, so open in all of these charts, but look what happens 3 months after you were born. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 activations. I'm looking to see if there are any others. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You only have 2 prenatally. And then it's very interesting that everything else came in when you were 3 months old. So are you aware of anything that happened in the first 3 months of your life that may have impacted you?
I was very sickly.
And then what happened when you were 3 months old?
I have no idea. I was told that I almost died from being sick. I
Do you know
wasn't
what you were sick with?
something to do with um, my stomach and intestinal tract and stuff like that. My mother at the time, she didn't necessarily do the greatest job um, taking care of me or my sister for that matter. Um, we became healthier when my father got custody of the two of us.
How old were you?
Uh, about 8 at that point.
Um, 71. You were born in 75.
I was, yeah.
75 to 83 is 8.
Correct.
So the whole time it was in Libra, you weren't being taken care of. Then it moved to Scorpio, and 83 to 95 was probably a more intense and transformational period for you.
Yes.
So the Plutos are important in your chart, and go through those time frames and look at what was happening. What I can tell you is that when you were 3 months old, um, more consciousness came in. And you have a very strong chart. You know things that you're not told. You're very intuitive. You pick up frequency from people, and you can transform emotional energy for people when you tune in to the frequency that they need in order to be cared for and in order to manifest their potential. And when you ask yourself what you know, you get answers. Are you aware of how sensitive and intuitive you are?
I am.
Excellent. Breathing is critical for you. Now, I say that because you were born with the 4521, and the 4521 was Venus in Gemini and Jupiter in Aries. When you sense that anything is not aligned with your direction of self, the way you know is your breathing shifts. And if you always tune in to, is my breathing relaxed? Am I going in the right direction? Then the energy you're picking up from the people around you can be released. Part of the challenge you've had throughout your life is that you are so sensitive that you, at times growing up, didn't know who the energy belonged to. And you could have taken action that wasn't right for you, thinking it was right for you. Did I get that?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
Well,
Nope. Okay,
not,
so let's look at your chart. Um, you have some very interesting and complex aspects in your astrological chart, and strong Leo right on the fifth house cusp. You're a creative person. What do you do, Jeff?
as far as work or in
Yeah.
general, I'm a transportation specialist. I drive a tractor trailer.
Ooh. It shows here that when you were 7, uh, your life did change, 7 to 8. Um, and that some of the nuance of your perception was then recognized. It could have been when you started school. It could have been when your dad took custody. Your Neptune in the 8th house shows the psychic ability, the tuning in. The 4th house shows some of the issues and the need to take control and power over your own integrity. But I looked also at the progress chart. And now I did this a couple of days ago. Pluto in Aquarius in your 10th house. Now, are you thinking of doing something different?
Work wise, No, I have not entertained a thought of doing something different. I'm pretty comfortable with where I'm at and with what I'm doing, even if it was
Okay.
with a company.
Um,
I like to work alone. Um, this job gives me that opportunity where I'm in control and I just do what I do and everybody leaves me alone. And that's pretty much the way I like it. And I've also set myself up within the company to where I'm their main guy. And it's
where do you
basically,
live?
I'm in Seminole, Florida.
Ah,
So they want five of me in five different places at once, but there's only one of me.
well,
So,
it's nice that they want you and that you can set more of your own agenda because you're in demand.
right. And I was going to tell you that if my father had not gained custody of myself and my sister, I would have been a totally different person.
Hmm. And in what way do you think that would be?
My morals, my standards, my work ethic, everything would have just been different.
Different.
I have two half brothers that have gone the other direction. They're sad, and that
Hmm.
very well could have been me.
There's stuff under the surface that's brewing for you. And I see some change coming um, in how you think about yourself. Um, I think there are some really good things coming up ahead. Um, but there's change. So, what is it that you see changing in your life, if not your job? Relationship?
It could be. It's hard to say. There's always change, but I've always found that I'm one step forward and 10 steps back with everything. That's how it's been since I can remember. Always. A huge roller coaster.
Um,
I genuinely don't know what to expect.
yeah, I don't know what to expect from this chart either,
Right.
because I see some change coming from an unconscious level, progressed um, secondary moon is in the 12th house in Pisces, and yet there's stuff coming over your ascendant in Aries, which says energy toward expressing yourself differently. I see some things in the second house that have to do with self-esteem and resources. I see Pluto in Aquarius in your 10th house. Um, I think you're going to be coming into more internal power.
What
And
does that
what?
what does that mean?
It, some of it is in the house of work. So I
Oh,
don't know if there's innovation that you could bring to the company that would change what they're doing or improve what they're doing.
I do
but
that, actually.
well, you're going to be doing more of it. And I would not be surprised if they give you more to do or a promotion or a different position. I mean, you have such a strong progress chart with so much going on that I see shifts in your relationship, whether it's making it legal or, you know, having some kind of understanding. I see change at work and a definite assessment now of your values and of what's important to you, and an anchoring of who you are in a whole different way, almost like you're validating yourself and the way you've been. I want to show you the worlds. Just I put the matrices here
Okay.
to show you all the mandalas, and I'm looking at how they integrate in you. And the thing is, you're so open. It's no wonder you want to be by yourself, because if you're with people, you pick up their energy and it drives you nuts
Yeah,
because you don't know, you're not somebody who does well in groups.
you're right.
There's too much energy, it's too overwhelming. You can't perceive where it's coming from, and you don't want to. I mean, it's not just that you are inundated with all this energy, it's that you want to be left alone to do your own thing,
That's correct.
your own way, and
Yeah,
you're capable of doing it. So I don't think that anyone should mess with you. I'm not sure you're realizing and reaching your full potential unless you contribute something of what you actually know that could take what you've learned and make it better. And I don't know what I'm saying, I'm just reading the chart.
I get it.
Okay, good. You're a good listener, but you don't always want to listen.
That's spot on.
You are a good leader, but you don't always want to lead.
Correct.
I think you're good at setting boundaries for yourself. And that's really healthy for you. Those boundaries can be set when you tune into your breathing. So if you're in a situation that ruffles your feathers,
Which is
um,
often.
breathe and release, and you can say what you need to say. Don't hold back. It's most important that you protect your energetic aura, because if you don't, you compromise your intuition, your integrity, and you don't get accurate information when you let other people's energy contaminate you. So when you've made missteps in your life, it's usually because you've not released everything other than your own energy.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Good. You're very smart and you have a lot of questions. When you tune into them and ask for answers actively, that's when you download what you need to know. So I think you get a lot of information when you're alone driving.
Yeah, that's overwhelming.
Um,
It's a lot of, I'm a thinker. So when I'm in the truck, it's 5 hours one way and I'm thinking the whole time. It can be problematic.
to make it not problematic,
And it depends on what kind of troubles I've been enduring. And usually that would be a relationship aspect where it starts to become depressing.
tell me more.
Well, the relationship aspects throughout my life have been roller coaster rides and uncertainties and thinking I know what I want and not necessarily knowing what I want and
You know what you want. You know when it's right, but you are sensitive to the other person's energy. And when you don't clearly know what direction you want for you, that's when you get derailed.
yes, very much.
I'm going to send you, when I send you the recording and I send you the charts, I'll send you the Pluto paper to go through the times. That will be helpful for you. And
Okay.
also, I'm going to send you some what's called clean questions that you can use for this 214 is the key for you. And it's always asking, am I going in the right direction? Am I at the right timing? That's one I just added for you because for you it's about timing. You
Yes,
need
it is.
you need to be quiet and not engage until you've been in your own space, meditating on the direction of yourself. You don't have you don't have the channel of goals. So setting goals is not easy for you. Setting boundaries would be easier than setting goals. And the reason I'm bringing it up is that it's so important for you to know in the moment that you're headed in the right direction and not letting this energy from outside come in and pull you away from what you know. And it's when you let go of what the direction of self is to take care of another person, to recognize that they need a reboot. Um, you know, when somebody's emotionally reactive, that you don't want to be around it. And you also know how you can transform it if they give you a chance and listen to what you're telling them. But if they're not, then it pulls you away from yourself in a way that's not healthy for you. The key is going to be the breath when you're with another person. When you're alone, when you're alone, I think the question would be, what do I know about this for me now? So if it's a relationship issue, that's an important question for you. Because if the one person's going one way and the other person's going the other way, you may know it's right for you to participate, or you may know it's exactly wrong for you from a frequency level and a directional level. And those are the two issues. Is it energetically aligned? And is it aligned in the mental world? These are the matrices I use: mental world, spiritual world, emotional world, physical world. The mental and the physical are connected. But notice that in the physical biological world, the connection between, I'll make it bigger. The connection between the physical world and the spiritual world are important. The emotional world and the mental world connect through the crown and the ajna. So the mental waking world, the world of your mother, you don't want to be in.
No.
It's the spiritual world of your father with the ability to transform emotion. That is the world you want to live in. But that requires in you that you set the boundary, that you know what the throat is doing and what the breathing is doing, and that you don't succumb to the emotional, physical reactions of the people around you, unless you spiritualize it. In order to spiritualize it, North Node in the 28. $34, 14, 43. When you're making decisions, give yourself at least a week before you commit.
That's not always easy.
And not always easy.
I
But
do need reactions from time to time.
if you have to act sooner, check what your breath is doing. If you're tight in breathing, or if you get a message that it's not the right direction for you, you can always say, I need some time to process.
Right.
And take that time. It takes you time to know what you know. 3 months as a baby. At 3 months of age, my guess is You knew your mom wasn't a good caretaker and you pulled away. Probably saved your life.
I would agree. Yeah.
Um, at 3 months of age, we have choice. If a baby at 3 months of age is not reaching for objects and having preferences for people and things, we worry about them. So at 3 months of age, your ajna and your crown came in, and you began to know what you know. So your intelligence is of being an observer. You'd rather observe than speak.
Generally, yes.
And the reason is it takes you time to know what you know. So you should never act precipitously. It actually, Jeff, takes you 3 months to process what you truly know about somebody and whether or not you want to be in any relationship with them. And when you're picking up too much emotional energy from someone, it's not healthy for you. It's too much of a burden.
Right.
So you should not be in relationships where you're constantly having to transform the emotional energy for the other person. It pulls you away from yourself and the time you need to be internal. And you need a lot of time.
That I know about myself. Yes.
Honor it. Take it. It takes you 3 months, took you 3 months to get your intuition online, to get the caretaking online, you're very much a person who can help other people transform their emotional and intellectual situation, but not at the expense of yourself. And that's part of the karma you came in with.
Which is always at the expense of myself.
Do not do it at the expense of yourself.
Right.
That's why you take time to drive when nobody can reach you. And turn off your cell phone. Don't let that time go to waste because you need it. Do you have any questions before we stop?
No, ma'am. And you've been pretty spot on with a lot of everything that you said.
And is it helpful?
Yes, actually, it is.
Good.
I wasn't sure when we got started because this is new to me, but yes.
So I'm going to send you clean language questions. I'm going to send you the Pluto paper,
Okay.
and I'm going to send you your chart and the recording. I will be doing a 5-day experience again on the four worlds in January. That might be a helpful class for you to go to. I do one world a day. It's cost effective and it will give you some questions in each world. Part of the difficulty you have, Jeff, is you are such a empath that the energy around you is overwhelming. And I'm not an empath the way you are. My husband is an empath the way you are. And he picks up, he's a medical doctor. He picks up energy from his patients and feels it in his body.
I can relate.
And the when you are that way, the question is, how do you not get inundated with energy you don't want to take in? For you, it's going to be breathing, and it's going to be asking, is this right for me? And if it's an it is, then you go with it. If it's no, you say, sorry, I need some time to myself. You need the time to process what it is you're picking up from other people and to differentiate what belongs to you and what belongs to them. And the way you know that is through breathing and through waiting to get the intuitive hit about what you know you know. And you know more than you think you know about people you're picking up energy from. And you don't want it.
Right.
I've been psychic since I was born. And I knew that the people around me didn't know what I was responding to.
Right.
So I kept quiet about it. And when my psychic abilities reemerged, full blown, I remember sitting at the airport with my mother in Phoenix, and the lady at the next table was going to die in 24 hours. And I started crying. And I said to my mother, what do I do with this? I can't go over to a stranger and tell her she's going to die. I don't want to know. It took me 5 years to learn how to turn it off, how to be able to see and feel, and to be able to not see and feel. You need 3 months to know what you're seeing and feeling about somebody you're relating to.
Right.
Do not rush it. When you rush it, it's at the expense of yourself, Jeff. Not worth it.
That's an awakening.
Use it. It's been a pleasure to read for you. This will be on YouTube, and I will also send you a link to the recording so you have it for yourself.
I'm grateful and I thank you very much for that.
Glad to do it. Take care. My pleasure. Bye. Thank you for joining us for this Noble Energy Map reading. And go to my calendar at www.nobleenergywellness.com and schedule your own free YouTube reading with me and be empowered in your life.